Now we all have one, that inner judge, inner critic, whatever you want to call it, right? I look at it like this. I look at it as like I look at it like, an actual courtroom. You know, you have to present your case, to the court, right? You got to convince the jury, you got to convince these outside parties that your case has value. What you have to say has value, right? And then the judge sits up on the stand, here's the verdict from the jury, and then the judge hands down the judgment, if you will, right? So the thing is like, again, you have to present your case to an outside entity called a jury. Problem is, we do the exact same thing, you know what I'm saying, like when it comes to our ideas. So we'll have an idea or a thought, right? Something that we've crafted in our minds, right? And that inner judge tells us nobody outside has validated this idea. So who said, so obviously it doesn't have value, right? Now, I do this all the time, right? This is a big issue that I'm just now realizing that I've always had this issue. Thinking that someone outside or my outside results get to determine the value of my ideas. So I did this during my music days. Somebody, people outside of me had to determine the value of my music. I always thought my music was good. I love my music. I really enjoyed, my music. But, I can't really listen to it now. But I always had that thought process. Without even realizing I had that thought process was that people outside of me had to validate the worthiness of my art, my music, right? And that was partially because of me, it's all because of me, obviously, but partially that was because I was focused on the wrong result. That was one thing. I was focused on the wrong result, but that's a whole other story, right? But because I was focused on the wrong result, I thought that, people outside of me had final say on the value of, it's a bumpy little road, I should have turned down the street. People outside of me determined the value of what I created, right? And so, in my mind, again, like I said, I had that belief. I didn't fully believe in myself because I wasn't getting that. There were times I wasn't getting that validation. I wasn't getting that approval, that I was hoping for, that I was looking for when it came to my music, my art, right? And again, like I said, it's that inner judge, what I'm saying, like that inner critic, trying to get you to focus on reality, right? Be realistic, be logical, right? Yeah, and I love, and the reason why I brought this up is because I've heard this so many times, but so, how you basically hear an idea with different ears, you know what I mean? Sometimes it happens as you get older, sometimes it just happens, it just depends. But I'm listening to an old Tony Robbins talk where he's talking to Frank Kern, and he's talked about this in many other videos, but um, it's the whole concept with the four square boxes, right? You got potential, action, results, beliefs, right? you know um, the potential of something can be super high, right? But then then you start taking action on that potential, and then you get a certain result based on those actions, right? And the results that you get, affect those beliefs, affects the beliefs you have. So, and if you look at it, it's it goes potential, actions, results, beliefs, and it goes all around, right? So internally, what I'm saying, like, if you don't have if you don't have the beliefs internally, if you don't have the beliefs down pat, then it lowers the amount of potential you have, right? So the lower the potential you feel like you have, right, the weaker actions you take, or the less action you take. The less action you take, the less results that you get. The less results that you get, then it reinforces those negative ass beliefs. Like, I told you so. Told you wasn't gonna work. Told you wasn't the one. And so it's a never ending cycle, of negativity, right? But one thing he talks about is, in order to make this thing happen, in order to get the results that you want, right, you got to see the results in your mind. Um, you know, instead of letting it go in that cycle, that circle that he talked about, you got to kind of take a step back, and connect the beliefs to the results, kind of go backwards, right? You got to see the results in your head, to create that belief, to create that certainty, what I'm saying? And once you build up that belief, then, you know, because the potential is there. If it's something that has potential, and not even just, anything outside of you or anything that you do, but you personally, you have all the potential in the world, right? Like me, I know I got God-like potential, right? So I know that for a fact in my head, right? Problem is, it's like, even though I know I have so much potential, right? I don't take as much action, right? Or I do take action, but I don't take as much action as I could because, of the beliefs, right? And so that's why I wanted to bring up this whole entire talk, is because, again, you have that inner judge that'll make you believe that, if you don't have the results, or if anybody else outside of you isn't validating the beliefs that you have or the things that you say, then you're going to minimize your own potential. And that's just, it's a harsh truth. I tell you, honestly, like, that has always been my issue, right? I have minimized my own potential, um, because of my beliefs, right? Um, yeah, wow, it's deep. Hopefully this helped. Definitely helped me out. Um, it's like I said, it's a very, very interesting. I really love diving into, like, the depths of belief, right? Um, just knowing how everything works. It's my shit. Talk to you next time.